So I did a survey of the stores here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I'm definitely seeing the situation degrading. We are losing a lot of products out there. We're seeing a lot of fronting, and particularly in dairy, also in vinegar. We have a number of other products too that we need to talk about that I'm seeing issues here. Not only here, but I'm also cross-referencing against what I saw in Arizona. But I really do need to hear from you guys. Are you seeing the same things? If so, pop down in the comments down below. Make sure you use the word update somewhere in there to let us know what you're seeing in your area. Are you seeing the same things? Are you seeing different things? All right, friends, without further ado, let's jump right into it. All right, friends, welcome to the Poplar Report. We are starting here today at Aldi. We'll hit Walmart and a little bit of Sam's Club as well. Aldi here, just seeing some shortages on apples, certain varieties. Other varieties seem to be fairly well stocked. But that's something that we're going to come back to when we start looking at applesauces. We seem to be having issues with applesauces. At first we thought it was the cinnamon, but now it looks like we're having a general shortage of apples in general. Dairy. We continue to see issues here of certain products in dairy, and especially the less well-known stuff. So yogurts, sour creams, we're seeing issues with certain varieties. Tuna. This is something that we haven't talked about yet, but there's been issues out there on the ocean. They have not been catching as much, and in some places they're being banned from fishing, to save the planet. And because of the bans on fishing, especially up in Canada, we're seeing that there's less tuna coming onto the market. Salmon is also a bit in shortage, but that's for a whole different reason over in Alaska and parts of Canada too, because of some issues with that. So just be aware that some of the fish, especially the canned fish, is starting to show some cracks in the market. When it comes to butter, of course, we're talking about dairy once again, issues there. Especially the stuff that doesn't have canola oil in it, right? We got a lot of canola oil, butters. They're quote-unquote butters, but they're margarine fortified with a little bit of butter. When you start looking at pure butter, the supply is a lot shorter. All right, over to, I didn't see the stuff in the back there. Hot dogs actually don't look to be too badly stocked. There seemed to be something going on here, but from that angle where the picture's taken, you can see back further that there were more boxes stocked up. Hams. We are seeing that hams are disappearing. Now, I know that they're kind of a bit of a winter seasonal item, but at the same time, we shouldn't be out of them. And so Aldi, this is where they stock their hams. The cooler was cold still. I put my hand on it, and it was still cold. Then when I get over to Sam's Club, I saw something very similar where they just were out of hams. Walmart, I didn't look too hard because I didn't really know what was going on at that point. I'll definitely check next week when I go back. But just know that Aldi and Sam's Club were having issues with their hams. So let me know if you guys are seeing shortages of hams out there. Brown sugar. That's where the brown sugar should go, but the brown sugar is not there. That's not necessarily anything. Aldi, of course, is not as great at keeping things in stock as Walmart is. So brown sugar, let me know if you're seeing any issues out there. I've been hearing a bunch of you guys talking about issues with sugar. And like I said, on paper and in the news reports, we shouldn't be really seeing issues with sugar, at least at this point. We don't really have anything going on. The Baltimore harbor closure, but that should impact Domino and nobody else. And that's cane sugar, not beet sugar. So water looked a little low at Aldi, so I just grabbed a photo of that. This is over at Walmart. They're fresh. Both of these stores, by the way, I went at about 10 a.m. in the morning. So we're there pretty early in the morning. From a stocking standpoint, they've had time to get stocked, but they should be prepared for the day, and they're not. The deli section, not stocked. Where's the potato salad? There's some coleslaw, but you know, maybe they'd missed a truck or something like that. We're not going to read too much into that. Just be aware that that looked a little odd. And then we have Cool Whip, whipped topping. We're looking at creamer, right? This is whipped creamer. And so another dairy item that just isn't fully stocked here. Some of the frozen food section, just a bunch of the TV dinners. I just thought it was a little interesting that the cheap TV dinners just were not fully stocked there. Like I said, applesauce. Now you can see a bunch of that applesauce is fronted, which is concerning. Some of it has a couple jars behind it, but a lot of them don't. And then you look at the bottom shelf there too. Applesauce is something that we usually don't have any problems having, and yet we're not seeing them being able to keep it on the shelves. Particularly the generic stuff is disappearing fast. Creamer, powdered creamer is having issues. When we get over to the liquid creamers, you're going to see that they don't look quite so bad, but powdered creamer, shelf-stable creamer. Also coffee. The cheaper varieties of coffee are definitely not well stocked. Folgers usually had two shelves dedicated to it, and it's usually packed out. But now we see just like one single strand of it here. This is a one-off right now. So we're gonna check back. I did see that coffee seemed to be a little bit low over in Arizona as well. So let me know if you guys are seeing the cheap coffee beans. Basically, Arabica is the good stuff, right? And then you have Robusta, which comes from Vietnam and Indonesia. And that's where we're having issues with on the global supply chain, the cheap side of stuff. So that's why we're keeping a close eye on the cheap side of stuff. We are seeing a little bit more great value coffee showing up on the shelf here than what we're used to seeing, but less Folgers. All right, the barbecue section was definitely low. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. If you have a retirement account, 401k, IRA, and you want to talk to somebody about what it would look like to switch over into gold, Jonathan and his team would just love to talk to you. There's a phone number right there on the screen. If you want to give them a call, they can answer your questions, and just be aware that if you mention this channel, they do waive the setup fee in case you decide to go forward with them. So if you do move forward with them, make sure you mention this channel at some point so they don't charge you those fees. All right, so rice, we got some 20-pounders there, which is better than what we saw over at over in Arizona. Arizona, we saw all the 20-pounders gone, so we have a few 20-pounders here, but just of the generic name brand 20-pounders are missing, and even the generic 20-pounders are a little light out there. Just like the barbecue, we see ketchup is not stocked here. So again, do they just miss a truckload? This is not how Walmart usually looks, right? And I do oftentimes go in the afternoon, but this, you know, they stock up overnight and they are supposedly ready in the morning, and yet they weren't. By 10 a.m., it's still not ready. Vinegar, definitely really low. I mean, they have, you know, 10 hours to go before everyone has gone through the store for the day, right? 10 more hours, and this is how much vinegar they have. Not to mention the shelves look a little dirty, don't they? Beef broth, that's noticeably small, right? One box of beef broth, generic. Now, if you want to get the more expensive Swanson stuff down below, there's more of that available. But generic beef broth, gone. That's eye-opening if I ever saw anything. And then here, I try not to take pictures of people. They were in the way. Definitely wanted to show how this canned chicken is fronted. Now, they do have some more down below. I'm not sure why they didn't just bring that up, but definitely some issues there. And we'll look at the canned meat section on the regular shelf. But Normally, they're just always like looking for places to shove stuff, but now that's quite the opposite. Now they have lots of gaps, lots of places to put stuff, and not enough stuff to put there. Green beans. Where'd all the green beans go? Like, this shelf space is valuable. I don't think you understand how much Walmart hates empty shelves, because that's product that could be sold. They could have a product there that you could buy. And yet we're seeing gaps, more and more gaps. In the canned food section is especially concerning, because that stuff has a relatively low turnover rate. Like, this didn't happen yesterday. This isn't like, oh, they forgot to stock last night. This is weeks in development. When they stock these shelves with the canned goods, oftentimes they do go days and days and potentially a week before they restock. That happens because people don't buy a lot of canned goods. And so when you look, especially the name brand stuff, they don't turn that over very quickly. And so the stuff that's on that shelf has been missing for a while. I go back next week and I almost guarantee you I'm going to see those holes right there, because it takes time to empty that stock. And yeah, mashed potatoes. There were issues over at Aldi. I was looking for a good picture of it. At first I couldn't find, because they moved it around, the mashed potatoes at Aldi. I eventually found them, and they were in a much smaller space, so that's why I was particularly paying attention to mashed potatoes over here at Walmart. But this seems to be fairly well stocked. So powdered mashed potatoes are still a way to get stocked up. All right, they've reorganized this section again. So as we're looking at this, we do have a fair bit of canned chicken, but notice how there's less multi-packs. That's something new. This section has been turned into a lot more individual cans. So it's like they want you to buy less. So there's that going on here. And then we're also seeing like more brands of chicken, more brands of meat in general. And we're also seeing more non-meat substitutes also showing up on these shelves. So there's that. And by and large, the canned meats look pretty good. Sort of like the mashed potatoes. But when we start looking at the beef section, the ones that actually contain beef, which most of that is just sauce, right, that you put on beef. The beef sections are looking pretty thin. You got some Keystone, and that's about it. Where's the great value canned beef? There isn't any. Notice that. The corned beef hash has been reduced significantly, and it's been pushed off to the side. So we're seeing, and we don't see any other brands of beef except for the canned beef that comes in from out of country. We see the tins there of that, but definitely some cracks showing up when it comes to tuna and some of the tuna fish and everything like that. We're seeing some gaps there. Not too concerning, because a lot of that's kind of specialty stuff. Seasonings, certain seasonings disappearing. You know, once again, they don't have a high turnover rate on that stuff, so where's it all going? And then a few more holes there. Okay, olive oil. Definitely seeing lots of issues with olive oil. We talked a lot about that yesterday with the why that is, but the imported olive oil. So the better the olive oil is, the bigger the shortage is. So if it's pure olive oil, then you're having an issue. If it's extra virgin olive oil, that kind of stuff, seeing some serious issues, because the imports from Europe are getting super expensive. Spain lost a high proportion of their crop last year, and so that is impacting olive oil across Europe. In fact, a lot of olive oil is moving from the United States over to Europe due to the high prices. And not only is that impacting olive oil, but it's also impacting other oil prices. So oil prices and availability. Something that we shouldn't really be seeing shortages of, this stuff that is not good for your health. Vegetable oil or soybean oil, right? Canola oil from rapeseed plants. That's also not great for your heart health, right? But this is what a lot of people are eating, and this is where a lot of calories are coming from for the U.S. To see that oil dropping in supply and prices going up means it's going to be more economic pain for American citizens. And if the prices go up enough, they're going to switch over to olive oil. They're going to switch over to other oils that are healthier, right? And that may be good for their health, but it's going to cause real supply issues on the other oils. We got flour. The small bags a little bit low in stock, but then the big bags seem to be stocked pretty well. Sugar, definitely gaps in the sugar. Now we expect to see some in the Domino because they're having shipping issues. From the Pittsburgh area, we probably just get ours by rail, so that shouldn't impact here too much. But are you guys seeing issues with Domino sugar on your store shelves out there in other locations? That's something I would be interested in hearing about. But even the generic sugar from Walmart, the big bags, there's a bunch of gaps on the shelves. Look at that. Big old gaps. The ramen barometer tells us that people are not panicking at this time. People are not really looking at getting stocked up. They're not trying to get, prepared for things. So ramen seems to be well stocked both here as well as over in Arizona. So people's panic level is low right now. Dairy section, of course, milk. Issues like we've been seeing, spotty outages, just not being fully stocked with different things, half and half. Creamers, heavy creams. Coffee creamers seem to be a little bit better off. That just looks like they just didn't get in there and sort things out. But certain varieties, especially the cheap varieties of great value creamer, seem to be low down the bottom right there. You can kind of see that. Coffee Mate seems to be fairly well stocked, but the cheaper side of things is less stocked. Cream cheese, looks like they could clean up this section a little bit, but otherwise it's probably not an issue. Butter and fake butter seem to be fairly well stocked, though I will notice that fake butter is not as well stocked as it usually is. So margarines, seed oil based quote-unquote butters, those are not as well stocked, so we'll keep an eye on that. Sour creams, also an issue here. Again, it's not like all of them. It's like just some varieties, some brands, some sizes. So it's just like there's issues there, but not anything that we can really look at. Dozen eggs, 206 here, but notice how much is missing there. That is something concerning. A lot of options there missing, and also those are a lot of those are the bigger packs. So 12 eggs, dozen eggs, you can get those, but the big bulk packs of like 36 eggs or 8, you're not seeing the 24 packs, you're not seeing the 36 packs. So that's what's kind of going on here. I've heard some reports out there that bleach is still kind of not fully stocked. Clorox not being able to get, they had that hack that happened last year. They just haven't been able to ramp up supply to fully restock the shelves yet. And so I went over here to look at the bleach shelf, and that seems to be accurate. Clorox has not been able to restock their shelves out there. If you guys could check your Clorox and the bleach shelf at your stores, are you seeing the same thing? Do they just not have enough bleach on the shelves? If so, that is something we should be paying attention to. All right, over to Sam's Club. The salad mix was just pitiful. If I zoom in here, just like this is what like all the bags look like, just brown all over the place. You can't see it actually quite so well on this, but you can see that we got a lot of wilting, we've got a lot of brown on, and that was like every single bag. I like these Caesar salad kits because they're super, super easy. So I usually grab 1 or 2 of those, but this just like all of that salad was just brown cuts all over the place, and I didn't want to buy it, so I didn't. And there were the other salad kit mixes were out of stock as well, so that's just, there wasn't any salad, which is just annoying, right? I mean, a lot of us, salads are a luxury, and it's annoying when it's not there. Of course, you can grow that very easily at home, but yeah, there's a better shot of a bunch of the brown cuts. That's what like every single bag looked like. Just ridiculous. The ham section, so there were these hams on the right, but going left, that whole bin was supposed to be hams, and yet where were they? They just weren't there. So definitely something I'm seeing here too. All right, friends, let us know what you guys are seeing at your stores. Post your comments down below on this video or any video to let us know what you're seeing store-wise, if you're seeing the same things or if you're seeing different things. You make sure you use the word update somewhere in there. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video, there's one right on the screen. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, there's a link right there on the screen as well. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report.